Hi, this is Marta Gabriel from Crystal Viper, and you're listening to We Got to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
In my life.
Oh, okay. So this is the very first Zoom you've done.
Yes, exactly.
Well, at least it's not a disaster, huh? I mean, we connected and everything, so that's good.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working, so that's good news. So, Marta, new album, and like with the last record is another melodic, hard, fast, awesome record. And I think what's interesting in the press release, I thought that you guys were even considering, or at least you were considering at some point, even calling this album, at least initially in the beginnings of it, The Cult 2, right? So
Yes.
Why did you move away from that? Because, I think that would have been an appropriate title.
The title will be perfect for that because the structure of lyrics, the concept of lyrics is a kind of continuation, the idea from the Cult album. Songs aren't connected with each other. It's not a concept album, but lyrics are inspired by Lovecraft stories, as well as it was on the Cult album. But when it came to figuring out what kind of title of the new album will be the best one, we knew that named it as The Cult 2 would make our fans, especially those ones who haven't heard the previous album, they would feel a little bit weird about this one because it's The Cult 2, but I don't know the first part, so maybe I shouldn't listen to this one, but first I should check the previous one. But no, they are different albums with different songs. Yes, they are inspired by Lovecraft, but we didn't want to make people confused about the titles. That's why we named it The Silver Key. Mostly because the lyrics are inspired by those stories from Lovecraft, which were connected with the Silver Key theme.
Right. The album is out on the Silver Key is out on the 28th of June, so not too far from now. I mean, a couple weeks, probably by 3 weeks down the road. So you must be thrilled to kind of have that out there. Right now, you got a couple videos out there, Fever of the Gods, and then In the Haunted Chapel. Tell us a little bit about why those were those the two singles, I guess, videos selected by the label, or did you have any input, and how'd you feel about the overall final product of those two videos?
In the Haunted Chapel, actually, is not a song included on the new album. We actually recorded it in between of those albums, only because we were bored.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, let's record a song. And we had time, so we did that, and we recorded it as a single. Then we decided to record it again with our new drummer. Because on this new album, we have a new drummer. Our previous drummer left the band 2 years ago. So we really liked the song, and this one is also inspired by Lovecraft stories. So we wanted to record it again with Kuba, with our new drummer, and making this video was a kind of welcoming and introducing Kuba to the audience, to show him, take a look, we have new great drummer. And also, I really like the vibe of the song, in the Haunted Chapel. That's why we wanted to do a video. I know it's not a huge production or anything like that, but we just had time. We were all, each of us were in the same area in the same time, so why not do the video for this one? And this is why we and how we produce the video. When it comes to a new album, The Silver Key, we have two music videos. One is for Fever of the Gods, And this is a kind of big production. We worked with a quite nice company who produced the video, and it looks freaking awesome. I really like it. And it looks exactly as we wanted. And
Nice.
and I think it shows perfectly Crystal Viper's vibe, Crystal Viper's style, and it shows perfectly what you can expect on the album. And the second video we have for this album is the Silver Key. And in this music video, you can see the band from more, how to say that, from more personal side. You know, you can see us working on the album in the recording studio. And there are also parts from our live shows and our time that we spent on the ship last year on the Full Metal Cruise Festival.
Oh, right.
We played their 3 live shows day after day, and the time that we spent there was so amazing, and we really enjoyed it. So we came up with an idea to include those footage in the music video, and we had a lot of footage. So this is, I think it was a cool idea to use it.
I'm going to go back and watch that particular footage because you said, how was it for you performing on a ship? Because I know sometimes people get what they refer to as seasick, you know, and obviously I've been on a few of those. So from a fan's perspective, I think you know, you get so locked into what the band's doing that you kind of forget any of the particular symptoms of seasickness. But as a performer, I mean, how does that work? Because, you know, that thing is kind of moving along the ocean, and you know, I mean, you're one of those physical performers moving around, and the ship's moving around. So
it was weird. It was different, you know, because you are standing on stage and you felt that ship is moving. You are standing doing nothing, but you feel that everything moves left and right. And we even played one show during the storm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So the movement of the ship was even stronger. Of course, it wasn't that glasses were falling down from, you know, from tables, not like that. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird, and I will never forget that.
Right.
But in general, the time that we spent on that ship was so special. You know, just think that performing live, playing a live show somewhere out on the sea is like something incredible. And to be honest, I was dreaming for many years to do something like that.
To do that. So that's one of those, as they say on the bucket list, you know, you want to do that before your time is done. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, so exactly. And you said you guys did 3 performances on the ship? Was that right?
Yes. Two, there were 2 from Crystal Viper and 1 Marta Gabriel from my solo project.
Nice. Okay, so you were busy on that one.
Yes, for sure. And we were also pretty lucky because the weather was fantastic. Sun was shining all the time, and the food.
Oh yeah,
gosh, the food was amazing. I was eating shrimps in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night.
Right.
Yeah, I love shrimps, and you could find there in all tastes you can imagine. So lots of food, which I really, really love. In general, I like to eat. So for me, it was pretty cool to be able to taste lots of different foods that I didn't know before.
Nice. So that was also another pleasant experience. With yourself, I mean, you're a multi-instrumentalist. I know you bass, guitar, and also piano. Which one of those do you feel most comfortable doing, and why? Piano. That's amazing.
Piano, yes, because I actually I finished music school, and piano was my first instrument. And until today, piano is my main instrument. I compose music mostly on piano, and then I arrange songs on other instruments. I started playing piano when I was 7, so it was a long ago.
And well, long ago for me, maybe, but not for you. But I'm old, but no, with yourself, I think the one thing that before I discovered Crystal Viper, I think you had done a piano rendition of When the Crowds Are Gone, the Sabotage,
Yes.
right? So tell me about that. How did what inspired you to make that video? Because I saw it on YouTube.
It was actually a recording for the Keep It True festival, because you remember the time that we had this COVID pandemic,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
The festivals were postponed or canceled. Nothing was really going on Earth during that time. Everything was postponed or canceled. And as it was with Keep It True festival, but the owner of the festival came up with this idea to do something online, because he cannot organize the festival. So he came up with an idea to do to keep the spirit of Keep It True for
Right.
the internet, to connect with the audience, to keep the connection between the audience, musicians with audience, and to keep the spirit alive.
Mhm.
And I was asked to perform on this,
Okay. Yeah.
festival in online edition. And well, it seemed like this was the perfect choice for the occasion, for the time. And the other thing is that I really like Sabotage. It's one of my very, very favorite bands, especially because of the piano in their music, right? And it's exactly the same with, for example, Virgin Steel band.
Oh yeah, right.
It was always one of my very favorite bands, and I listened Virgin Steel almost from the very beginning, since I started to listen to heavy metal music. It was one of the very first bands that I started to listen to metal, and it was because of piano.
Nice. Okay.
And actually, the very first metal song I covered with my piano was Arms of Mercury from
Okay.
Virgin Steel.
Oh,
And
okay.
after many years, I recorded it as well, and I think it's still somewhere on YouTube.
I gotta dig that up too. I gotta look for it. I mean, there's so much stuff anymore, but no, I gotta look that up. In fact, I'll make a note to rewatch that Sabotage cover that you did, because I really enjoyed it. For yourself, I mean, I know one of the things that the last time we spoke, I think we got into talking metal, and I think I had mentioned something about Judas Priest, and it's one of your influences, one of your favorite bands and stuff like that. I think at that point, I think the last time I spoke with you, you had yet to have seen Judas Priest live. Has that happened yet? Have you gotten a chance to see Judas Priest live in concert?
Yes, this year.
You did. How was it?
It was amazing. It was amazing, especially because they played one of my favorite songs ever from Judas Priest, of course, for me. And it was a huge surprise, because when we were going on that show, I heard that they don't have the song on the set list.
Oh.
And they played it. And I was like, goosebumps all over my body. And it's Love Bites.
Yeah.
Yeah, Love Bites. Those, this bass at the beginning. Oh,
yeah.
It's the best Judas Priest song to me.
I'm curious. I mean, when you saw them, did they do Painkiller? Because I think when I was talking to you, I said I got a chance to see them on the Painkiller tour twice, and you were like, "Oh my God!" But they're still doing it. I mean, and I think Halford pulls it off fairly well still.
Yes, I totally agree. They did play Painkiller. And what I can say about this live show, that Rob Halford's singing was freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I suppose he had a perfect sleep the night before,
right?
And he's in such good shape. The vocals on this live show that I was like, metal god is singing, right?
Well, no kidding. What'd you think of Richie Faulkner? And I think they had Andy Sneap, right? Andy Sneap's now playing, and sometimes Glenn steps up on stage. But what'd you think about them, being that you're a guitarist as well?
Life is like that sometimes musicians are not able to continuing their music career because of the health issues, or just they want to do something else, right? So then the band needs to do something to continue playing. And I think that Richie and Andy were a very good choice for Judas Priest, because I really liked them on stage. I think Richie looks fantastic. He looks like he was born to play in Judas Priest.
Right.
And of course, I miss the opportunity to see Glenn Tipton live, because he's my favorite guitarist that was ever born on this earth. And I will show you something.
Okay.
This is my mobile phone.
Okay.
This is my mobile, and I have my lucky card inside.
Oh. Oh, yeah, yeah. I have some of those. Yeah, those are cool. Yep. I'm
And this
familiar
is
with that.
Glenn.
Yeah, nice. So you kind of always have Glenn around, huh?
Yes, Glenn is always with me.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you got a chance to see him, because I think yeah, they're still doing it. I mean, and sure, they're not perfect, but they sound great.
Yeah, to me, they sounded perfect. They
Yeah.
sounded perfect, and I was so excited that.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I think, yeah, having experienced them for the first time, it was everything you probably wanted to see. Like you said, with the exception of Glenn wasn't there, but they have to press forward.
Yeah, of course. And the situation with Glenn, of course, it's a pity.
Sure.
And probably I will never see him live again. But it's like with many other of some of my favorite bands. I will never see Queen, for example.
Oh, same here. I mean, it's.
I will never see Mike Oldfield performing live.
Oh, right. That's a great singer there. Mike
I will
Oldfield.
never see Gary Moore. So.
Well, you never. I mean, but you'll get to experience some other bands, I'm sure, throughout the. Yeah. So that's always something to look forward to.
We always have their album. They are immortal, right?
Right. You can always go back and do the album. You still collect albums and music and CDs, right? You don't do just streaming anymore, do you?
Yes, I do. When I like a band, I buy CD or vinyl. Of course, to be honest, all right, I cannot call myself a collector.
Yeah.
Because my husband is collector, and he is this kind of a person that he has 7 different issues of King Diamond's the Eye of Witch album, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Not me, for sure. I'm not collecting albums, but when I like something, I keep on buying.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. There's somewhere you got to go, well, my wife's like, don't you have 2 copies of that? I go, but not this one, and this will be like my 6th or 7th version of an album. It's crazy, but it's fun. It makes you feel good, and you get to relive all the experiences of listening to the band for the first time and all that stuff, right? I mean, you can relate to that. And that happens with your fans as well, because you offer special packages and stuff like that.
For me, it's kind of cool thing that, for example, when the new album of one of my favorite bands is coming out, I never listen to this album without opening the booklet. And I love to hear the album for the first time with following the lyrics. It's a kind of a tradition for me, It's like...
No, I get it. I mean, I think, like I said, I pre-ordered this album, and even though I have the link to listen to it, I'm like, there's something about listening to bands that you've started, to follow religiously, and you're like, I'm just gonna wait and just, if there's a particular single out there, I'll listen to it just because it's out there. And there's something about either putting it in your car or listen to it at home when you get it, and then you kind of get to experience that. And like you said, then you get to rifle through the lyrics and go, okay, what's the concept there, or what's the message, or what was that lyric? And, it kind of takes me back to being a kid, discovering metal at, what was it, discovered it about age 10, but really got into it about 13, right? Where you're, on release date, you get the albums and you pop in the cassette back then, and you look through the lyrics.
Yeah, but ordering albums in their physical copies is kind of natural, because when I was a small girl, my father was bringing home tons of vinyls. There were caskets full of vinyls. There were vinyls everywhere. So for me, it was kind of natural when I grown up. Later, I was, recording my favorite songs from the radio on cassette.
Yeah.
Because when I didn't have money to buy my favorite album, I was waiting until they play my favorite songs on the radio with my finger on the rec button.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can relate to that too.
Funny times.
Yeah. So for yourself, as far as with like Crystal Viper, and I think a lot of the bands from overseas, Europe and stuff like that. I mean, how important is it to perform in America anymore? Because I say that because of with the internet and streaming. Sometimes concerts are streamed. Sometimes bands do special performances that are streamed worldwide. Is it that much of a target area anymore, or what's the thoughts on that from your perspective?
We would love to come to America to play a tour, and I know that there are many people who like Crystal Viper and who would love to see Crystal Viper. As it was pretty, maybe in the past few years, it was already very difficult for European bands to go there because of, for example, the costs of travels and so on. But from this year or from the last year, we musicians from the Europe, we need to get working visas to play live show in America. And it is not that easy to get them here. So going there and to play a tour and to play live show got pretty complicated here for us.
Right.
But I really hope we can do that very soon, because first of all, I've never been there and I would love to see your country.
Sure.
There are so many great areas that I would love to see. And first of all, to play for the people who are waiting for us out there.
Sure.
I know that we have fans in the USA, and it would be super, super cool to meet them one day.
Out of curiosity, what would be one thing that you would like to see or experience in the United States?
To ride American quarter horse.
Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean,
maybe somewhere in Texas,
and
to buy real cowboy boots.
Ah, there you go. I mean, that I hope you get the chance to experience it. I mean, I for one would be at a show for sure. So the new album is The Silver Key. It's out on the 28th of June. The one thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, are you familiar with Spinal Tap?
I just wanted to ask you that because the name of the program is We Got Together.
So I'm guessing you're familiar with Spinal Tap, right? So is there the thing I usually try to ask people, if we can squeeze it in, is a question of, have you ever experienced a Spinal Tap moment? So having watched the movie, you just kind of know all the different mishaps and weirdness that happens being in a band. Is there a particular story you'd like to share of a incident that could have been a Spinal Tap moment for you?
Yes, and I remember it exactly how it was, because I got lost on my way to the stage.
Oh, so that really did happen.
It really did happen. Yeah, it was, we played on like quite huge venues with many corridors, many different ways, many different rooms, many different halls, and I really got lost. And but we are lucky in the 21st century, we have mobiles.
Oh, so that's how you found your way.
And on that day, I had my mobile with me, and we were also that lucky that it wasn't that loud. So when I called Bart, he picked up the phone.
Okay.
But
gave you directions.
I wasn't alone. I was probably with Andy and with Blake, then with our previous bass player.
Oh,
so yeah, the Spinal Tap stories sometimes happen in real.
So that you can definitely relatable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for a nice talk, and thank you for supporting Crystal Viper. Thank you very much.
Take care, and we'll talk soon. All right.